Hi everyone, my name is Eben and welcome to another Planet Coaster build. This time around I made the animatronic from the Efteling called Longneck, or Longneck in Dutch. And I'm gonna show you how I made this, where the idea came from and why I wanted to do this in the first place. So I started off making the head because that felt like the most important thing to get right from the start. I knew that scaling was a thing and that we were going to be able to use it, but I also knew that a lot of the pieces have a limit to how small they were, so I had to make sure that I had all the pieces that I needed to get this build working. And I quickly ended up with something like this. I'm quite happy with this first version, even though it's a little bit nightmare fuel, as some people would call it. But that's kind of the thing when you try to make these animatronics. It isn't perfect by any means. Like you can see, the head shape does fall apart a little bit when you are looking at it from side to side. But I'm quite happy with what I made here, and this was the first step in the right direction. So once I had this nailed down, I could start working on the body, because the head was going to be the main determining element for the scale. This was the first head, and I'll show you what comes next when we start working on the body. So when I started working on the body, I quickly realized that these little shapes here, these little, how are they called? They are the aquatic windows, that they would work super well for the color here. And at first I tried to use that same piece for the color pieces right over here, but I quickly realized that it didn't work. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. It clipped too much, but I knew that I could still use it for what I wanted it to do. One of the pieces that made me sure that I was going to be able to build Longneck and get it to a state where you would recognize it is this drape piece, because it really matches with the shirt of Longneck in real life. And once you get that vibe down, then it's much easier to recognize it as, oh yeah, this is Longneck from the Efteling. As you can see, this was the first version of the body, and I wasn't entirely happy with it. You could see the arms sticking out over here, which wasn't correct. The body shape also wasn't really 100% correct. You could see it sloping down here on the sides, whilst that was not what it's supposed to be. It is meant to slope upwards in a curve like that. The belt wasn't exactly the way I wanted it, but it was a good step in the right direction, and it was going to be the build that was going to take me to the next level, where I would start working on the legs and other pieces of the body. And once I had that figured out, I knew how to continue. So I decided to cover up the arms a little bit more. I tried to go for the noose, but I really didn't find the best pieces to achieve that, and after spending so much time struggling with it, I decided to keep it as is. But I quickly figured out what I wanted to do. The legs and the shoes are pretty basic. I'm not gonna pretend like these are massive intricate, that this is a massive intricate build or anything, but it gets the job done, and this is fine for the first version of this animatronic. I hope to make another version of this when we have more DLCs and probably have more pieces down the line to do everything that I wanted to do. As you can also see, I updated the shape of the body a bit. I also made it a little bit longer because I noticed that the proportions weren't completely correct. So I made it a little bit longer, and the slopes are now much better and much more accurate to what it's supposed to be. And at this point I was really convinced that I could make it look convincing. So I only had to do a few more things, which was basically make the hands, which was a total nightmare, make the rock platform that he's sitting on. And what I also wanted to do was see if I could not redo the face, but if I could make some adjustments that make it better than what this is. Because you could still see, like, I know that the real Longneck has this, has these very pronounced cheeks and very pronounced chin, but I must admit that in Planet Coaster 2, this didn't look as well as I wanted it to look. So I decided that I was going to tone that down a bit so that you get what I wanted out of this. And now we're here at the final build, and as you can see, I slightly updated the face a little bit. The cheeks are much less pronounced and they are now much more filled in. The chin is also a little less over pronounced. The ears have been slightly redone and there's been some colors added. The rock on which he sits is added as well. In real life there's a bunch of ferns over here, but the ferns that I wanted to use really didn't look well or couldn't be scaled enough for what I wanted. But once it was sitting right here, I really liked what it looked like. Now I started working on the hands, and I'm going to admit the hands are the weakest part of this entire build. The bronze hands would have been amazing for this, but unfortunately they are bronze, and well, the texture really didn't match. If they would have been like a plaster or a stone type of material, then those items would have been perfect and I would have been able to use them. But yeah, it's not the case, so this is what happened with it. Now, as you can see at the start of the video, Longneck does do the long neck thing, but unfortunately it doesn't really do it the way that I hoped it would. It is fairly limited. I could add, I thought about adding like another one of those animatronic pieces, but then I noticed how quickly the lots were starting to disappear on me, and then I decided, well, it might be better to just make it go this high and not make it go higher if the lots would look even worse, which is a bit of a shame. I feel like the lots are showing much earlier than they're supposed to. There's also not really a way to make it turn around, which is something that I'm a bit sad about. Because it only turns like the entire way around, and I couldn't make it turn like a quarter to one side and I'll go back to the other side. So this is what it has become. I'm quite happy with this. This is a small little build, and as I said during my last Planet Coaster video, this is exactly what I wanna do. Is these small little vignettes to get into the game, and once the game has stabilized a bit more, which I really think it still needs, I think I can start working on a park. But for now, these little vignettes are going to be what I want to build. So if you didn't read the community post, and if you're wondering what's going to happen with Planet Coaster on the channel and Planet Zoo, if I make a Planet Coaster build, the video for that will be up on Wednesdays. If I make a Planet Zoo build, the video will be up on a Saturday. That's kind of the rhythm that I want to go for. I can't say that I'll have a Planet Coaster video every week, but I can say that I have a Planet Zoo project in the work. So I'm hopeful for that. So I'm going to put this one on the workshop. I'll leave the link, or the code, I think it is now, in the description. I hope you like this. I hope you're excited for what's next, both Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster, and thank you all so much for watching. Bye!